Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making cinnamon rolls, but not any cinnamon rolls, Swedish cinnamon rolls. They're actually called Kanelbullar and they are gorgeous. They don't absolutely resemble anything with the Americanized version, you know, with the frosting on top. Oh, this has this spice known as cardamom. And that's mum, not man. It's cardamom. Now, cardamom is a pod spice that's usually ground up. It's related to the ginger family, and it smells a little herbal and a little floral, and it's usually traditionally used in Swedish desserts, Indian cuisine, and also in Danish pastry. So I have used this before, but not to this extent. So there's a lot in the dough. It's a yeasted dough. It also has it in the filling along with cinnamon and butter. And the way you shape these is very unusual. And I'm going to show you step by step how to do it. And this is for a subscriber that reached out and asked me to make this. So this is a subscriber request. And this is for Sullivan's Papa. This is for you. So before we get started, I'd like to remind you to push the subscribe button so you can see all my videos and all my tips. All right? So let's get started. So this is 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I have it in my electric mixer. You can do this by hand if you'd like. 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Not that much sugar if you notice right here. 1 teaspoon of that gorgeous ground cardamom, 3/4 teaspoon of table salt. If you want to use kosher, you can. I like table salt in this. And this is 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 package of instant active yeast. So this is the fast rising. I'm putting it all in there. And I'm going to whisk it up. Now, in the meantime, what I have in a saucepan over here is 1 3 tablespoons of whole milk, 1 cup of whole milk plus 3 tablespoons and 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I've melted them together until I have reached about 110 degrees, or you put your finger in the mixture if you don't have a thermometer, and it actually feels like you could take a nice warm bath in it without getting burnt, because we don't want to kill our yeast. Our yeast will die at 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to pour this in. We're going to start with our paddle attachment. That's the dough, by the way. Like, that's it. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to start with my paddle, and I'm going to have my dough hook at the ready. And all I'm going to do is form this into a nice moist dough. Just let that go a little bit, and I'm going to pour it out on here and knead it a little bit. So once you hear that sound, like womp, 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 stop your machine. All right, but that means your paddle has done all it can do, and you're going to clean this off. All right, and you can see in here, it's like not totally dough-like. It's a little bit sort of like a shaggy dog. One of those dogs that hasn't been, you know, brushed and all that. But it's such a beautiful thing. You have no idea. If you have never had Kanelbullar, you really don't know what you're missing. So I'm going to put this with my dough hook on here. And I'm going to get that going for a couple minutes. We put this over here. We're going to let this rise until doubled in size. And because it is a yeasted dough, and this is a rich yeast dough, it's got the 4 tablespoons of butter. It's got sugar, and it's noisy. And it will sometimes take a little time to rise, and it may not rise as tall as something like a sourdough or something like another type of a dough, like maybe like a white bread or an Italian bread. So I sprayed a bowl with nonstick cooking spray. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to finish my kneading by hand. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to bring it onto my work surface. And still shaggy doggish. That's fine. That is fine. We can work with that. The one thing I like to keep by me when I'm actually creating a yeasted bread is extra water, just in case I need it. And I know we used milk, but if I feel my dough is a little dry, I will add a little water to it. And I'm going to feel it. Feel your dough. Don't just let the dough hook do the job. All right? Let your hands determine. And it's slightly sticky. Just needs to be brought together. Needs a little TLC from Chef Gail and from you guys. You can sort of smell that floral, little slightly floral citrusy scent, herbal scent. It's almost citrusy from the cardamom. I used to think it was cardamom, and a lot of people, when I was in culinary school, used to call it cardamom, but it's cardamom, like your mum, like your mum's got a bum. So it's mom, almost like M-O-M, and it is spelled like M-O-M. So I do not need any more water. Get out of here, water. We don't need you. And you certainly don't need any flour because we don't want the flour to dry out our dough. Try not to add any flour if you can help it. If you have to, you can always take a little neutral oil like canola oil and put a drop down as you're kneading it. But you can see it's a really nice compact dough. It's slightly sticky, but it's good to go. It's a little flecks of the cardamom, and I'm going to put it right in here. This bowl doesn't seem big enough, but it doesn't rise as much like we talked about because of the enriching ingredients. So I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap, and I'm going to let it rise till it's about doubled in size. It could take up to 2 hours. I usually give it about an hour and a half. Go find a warm spot and put it there. So my dough has risen and doubled in size, and it's beautiful, and it's beautifully sprinkled with cardamom, and it smells beautifully, very fragrant. So I've rolled it out to a 20 by 13 inch rectangle, and now it's time to make our glorious filling. So in a bowl, you're going to take a very softened stick of unsalted butter. It's very soft because you're going to be mixing this by hand. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla, pure vanilla extract. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. And this is where it gets interesting, folks. 1 more teaspoon of cardamom and 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. This really gives it that beautiful color in the stripes when we get going to forming them. And these are not shaped, like I said, like an Americanized, oh wow, got a whiff of cinnamon and cardamom, yum, yum, yum. And they're not shaped the same way as an Americanized cinnamon bun or a cinnamon roll. And it's very cool the way they're shaped. So you can see I'm just sort of mashing everything together. And you really want to get this incorporated because the spices should be completely throughout the butter and the sugar, and the vanilla should be incorporated. It's very easy to do the softer your butter. So make sure it's softened, not melted. Look at that. And look at that beautiful golden rich color. It's lovely. It's lovely. And I'm going to make sure that it's throughout, and I've really spread it. I'm going to take an offset spatula. Remember, that's that little kinked offset spatula. If you want, you can use a butter knife as well. You just don't want to cut into your dough. It's very important to shape these the proper way, but we have to give a really beautiful filling for the entire thing first. All right, you ready? Plop. So we're going to actually put our filling on top, and we're going to spread it. And even if you think, oh, that's not enough filling, Chef Sokol, it's enough filling. It's just enough filling. So you're going to smear very gently, and if you see a little bits of brown sugar, don't worry. Don't worry, but you're going to keep at it. And you're going to go all the way to the edges. Go all the way to the edges. All you want is a fine, thin layer because we are going to form these beautiful, almost like striped bands of this filling throughout this lovely. If you think an Americanized cinnamon roll is nice, these are gorgeous. These almost look like little packages. Little packages. So if, like I said, if you have a little bit of brown sugar that's not mixed in there, it's okay. And if you see that it's a little thicker over here, because it is, we're going to move that over. We don't need our rolling pin for a little while, but we will need it again. Just going to go around. Now, if you find that you have some area not covered, so you take the offset and just scrape the bottom of it with your rubber spatula and then use it just to sort of maneuver it back on. So you can actually take whatever excess you have and sort of scrape it up gently. You don't want to rip this beautiful dough. And just go back and forth until it's beautifully covered. Again, you're not going to have a thick covering. I will tell you, the smell is intoxicating. It smells like Sweden and Denmark in here with Danish pastry and beautiful Kanelbullar. I mean, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, and you'll want to make these again and again, and you'll want to teach your kids too because they're so much fun. Again, look, I'm going to scrape my offset spatula so I can get as much out of it and spread it. You're going to want your kids to do this with you because it's so much fun. So much fun on a rainy day or any day. All right. So now I'm going to make a letter, okay? So I have my long side facing me. I'm going to take my dough gently without stretching too much, and I'm going to bring it to the center, all right? And I'm going to gently push down. I'm going to take the other side, just like you're folding a letter to go into the mail, and I'm going to fold it over, all right? And this should be approximately 15 by 9. If it's a little bit less, that's fine. Once you have this, you're going to take your rolling pin and you're just going to roll it. So everything is sort of pressed down gently, and I'm going to move it over this way long ways. All right, I'm just going to press it down, and let's see if we can have it's about 15, and we want it about 9. So you're going to sort of make it happen, but gently. You don't want to lose this filling. If a little filling comes out, don't worry, because we're going to actually straighten out our edges a little bit. Okay? So let's see if we can get almost 9. I'm going to faint in ecstasy from this beautiful aroma. All right, so now you're going to take your pizza wheel and you're just going to go and take off anything that's not a perfect straight line. All right, that we can bake off later. All right, very, very gently, I'm just going to take anything off that's not a straight line. I like to braid these after and just wind them up and bake them off. And we're just going to take the edge off with your pizza wheel. All right. I'm going to do it on the other side as well, just very gently. Just the outer edges, very gently. This makes about a dozen buns or cinnamon rolls. All right. Now we're ready to shape our Kanelbullar. So after we made our letter, we are going to push down, and we got it to about 15 by 9. If it's not perfect, it's okay. And then we cut around just to get perfect edges. And then I took my pizza wheel and I cut 1-inch strips crosswise, not the long way, but the short way. So I had my long way going this way, and I cut this way. You should get 12. I got about 13, but you can sometimes get a baker's dozen if you're lucky. Now this is how you form them. So you're going to take your strip, and you see it, and I'm going to hit it a little bit because I want to pull gently and lengthen it. Okay? I lengthened it quite a bit. And then I'm going to twist with each hand. Just twist. Don't rip your dough. And then I take 2 fingers like I'm wrapping a bandage around my finger, just twice. And then I'm going to pull it off my finger and put this strip through the bottom, all right? And then just put it down, all right? Just put it down. Let's do it again. Hit it. And I'm going to turn like you're watching me. Twist, twist. I'm going to bandage my finger only, so that's once. Twice, I have an extra little bit of dough. I'm going to hold that up. I'm going to pull this over, and I'm going to push this through the hole that's made, all right? And then I'm going to put it down. You're going to put them about 2 inches apart. Let's do one more. Take some practice to do this. So you're going to just hit it gently. Twist, twist. Opposite hands going the opposite direction, okay? Wrap, wrap, twice, twist, gently take it off without ripping it, and then put it through the hole, all right? And then you're going to take it and put it down, all right? You may need 1 or 2 sheet pans. I do have parchment paper lining each sheet pan. And at this point, you can flip them where the dough comes through it, or you can flip them over and push it down. So let's do one more to show you that. So you go like this. Let me do it one way. And then these need to rise again in a warm spot for about 45 minutes. They're going to get puffy, but they're not going to totally double. Again, as you make your bandage towards your fingertips, you have to wrap towards the fingertips, not against the knuckles. Slide it off, push it through that hole, all right? And you can leave it like that, and then just flip it over, all right? So you can see the stripes that the cardamom and the cinnamon formed, and it will all bake together. We're going to egg wash it, and we're going to sprinkle it with pearled sugar after 45 minutes. So I'm going to continue making the. So just to clarify, one more time, we hit them to lengthen them, 1-inch strips. We're going to twist, twist, and then we wrap our finger with a bandage towards our fingertips. And then when we get towards the second wrap, we pull it off and we pull it around and under. And there's a hole left by my finger. So I'm going to push that through, flip it over, and you have like this little knot. I'm going to put them on my sheet pan and just sort of put them together, all right? If you want to put them on this way, you can. If you want to put it this way, you can flip it over, depending on the look that you're looking for. Some recipes don't twist at all. They just wrap. So I like to twist them because I think you see more of the cardamom cinnamon layers. And then I sprayed some plastic wrap. I'm going to put it over the top, put it in a warm spot for about 45 minutes so they rise. So our Kanelbullar have been proofing in the shape that they're going to go into the oven for about 45 minutes in a nice warm spot covered with sprayed plastic wrap, or even just plastic wrap because it really doesn't stick. I just wanted to make sure. Now we're going to take a beaten egg. This is the whole egg with a teaspoon of water. And we're actually going to egg wash each one. All right, just lightly egg wash. You don't want to cause like a scrambled egg situation. You want to do it nice and light. So I'm going to go around and do that. And then after I do that, we traditionally use in these Swedish cinnamon rolls, again, not like the American version that has this frosting, this confectioner sugar and water icing. They use Swedish pearled sugar. Look at this. So what Swedish pearled sugar is actually crystals of granulated sugar pressed together with a machine, pressed together and then polished. excuse me, sort of like pearls. So they're very shiny. They do not melt in the oven. And then we're going to sprinkle these beautiful, almost looks like, I hate to say this, and forgive me, road salt. Those of you that live in a cold climate. So that's what it looks like. You would put it in a 375 oven that's been preheating, and mine's been preheating, and you're going to put it in for 16 to 18 minutes until they get nice and brown. And you may see some of the filling come out and get sort of crispy and crystallized on the outside, and that's part of the beautiful, beautiful taste of these. So I'll see you back when they're done. So my Kanelbullar came out of the oven, and look at them. They're gorgeous and they smell so fragrant. I can't wait to try one. You can eat them warm, you can eat them cold, you can just eat them. So I hope you make these Swedish cinnamon buns. They are outrageous. Until next time.